Hi people, I'm back. I've just got some information that's just come in, and this shows how ludicrous the card is and how Indue can be, or the department, whoever's doing this to people, right? So we've got another Indue rent fail here, okay? And I've just had this come into the inbox. So Sally from Bundaberg, right, she's been paying her rent with her 20% because it was easier than waiting for the transfer. Because, you know, you have to set up the permission to pay your rent, then you have to do your transfers, takes a couple of days. It puts people behind. So a couple of times it was short, so she transferred that across. Or Indue clicked on that she hadn't been transferring enough, so to speak. And so couldn't transfer at all for the housing limit. They added up all that she's transferred under the reference word rent and have changed her transferable limit to $117. Now, this is, you're probably thinking, what? All right. She'd like to have the option to be able to use her 20%. Instead, her transferable approved amount was $1,040 a month for rent. But she never used it because she was doing it via her cash payments. And as she says here, you don't even get rewarded for doing the right thing, right? You know, so they have actually reduced her monthly housing allowance to $117 a month. How is that? Now, if she applies for opt-out, it'll be used against her, okay? That she's at risk of homelessness. But they're directly putting her at risk of homelessness because her housing limit now is $117 a month. That's all she's approved to pay for rent. I've already advised this person to contact their local federal senator. In this case, it's Anthony Chisholm and Larissa Waters for the Greens and Anthony Chisholm for ALP, because this isn't good enough. I've also advised this person to ring Anne Ruston's office, because here we go again. The department is playing with people's lives. You can't just reduce somebody's housing limit to $117 a month and say, well, that's all you're allowed to pay rent with. That is absolutely disgusting. Now, I don't know what's going on with Indue at the moment. I've just had another person in inbox. One thing you can't do is transfer from your Indue card to anybody's personal account normally. But for some reason, they thought they'd see if they could to do a test run for somebody being able to pay their rent, and somebody was able to transfer $20 to a private account. Now, we've got to wait and see if that bounces back on that person, right? And we'll keep that story up to date as it comes along. But this is ridiculous. We've had hundreds of people who've had their rental limits reduced to zero and have to go and reset their rental and provide their lease and all that sort of stuff. This person was paying her rent out of her cash portion because it was easier than stuffing around, right, with the housing limit stuff and the delay in the transfer and risk being late on payments for the rent. And now they've penalised her by reducing her housing limit to $117 a month. That makes sure she can't pay her rent. Or it makes sure that she has to use every penny of her cash allowance and $117 a month, which means that she has no cash allowance to herself for anything else. This is wrong. This is so wrong. You'll probably find it as people send me more stories again. I'll do more lives about this. I'm not going to shut up, you know, because, and card holders, please don't shut up. And thank you for Sally for this in the inbox, right? Because people need to be aware of how Indue and Services Australia are screwing Australians over. We have a housing crisis. You can't afford to be putting more people at risk of being made homeless. At the moment, people who are in the position of owning homes that they're renting out are evicting people hand over fist to be able to re-let those houses out at $100, $130 more a week because they can. because at the moment greed is ruling the roost. But don't make it so that people on the card definitely will get booted. If you stop people from being able to pay rents the way they need to pay rents, this is ridiculous. And I'm not impressed, as you can tell. So, just a quick one. But please, if you're on the card and you've got problems, right, go to your federal senators. Ring Anne Ruston's office. Ring Services Australia. Make complaints. And drop us a line here and let us know what's going on. So we can let the public know what's going on. Because I want to tell all the card holders out there, there's a lot of people supporting you out here, whether you are aware of it or not. Right? There's a lot of people behind the card holders here. You know, so please don't feel that you're on your own, because you're not. Even though you're not feeling it, and I'm the same. I live very isolated. I'm on my own. I don't speak to another human being unless I go to the shops during the day, right, and stuff like that. But I know that you guys out there are standing behind us, and the card holders. I know that there's 20,000 people on our groups. That is up to 30,000 people behind us and more, you know what I mean? Because I know you're out there. I see it, you know. So to the card holders, you're not alone, even though we know that you feel you are. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight, and if anything else pops up, I'll come back. See ya.